Today we will finish our lines project where we color in our tubes. We want to use our crayons so that we create some light value and some dark values to make it more realistic. All right, let's get started. I start with my orange here, and I'm coloring it really lightly. Try to color it consistently. Make sure not to press too hard or press too light. It all should be one shade of color. This orange should be the lightest shade on this tube. After that, we are going to add the darkest shade. So the first part was the lightest shade. Now we're adding the darkest shade. And I'm just doing it near the edges of my tube. So I'm pressing down high pressure, dark orange here, just near the edges. Once I'm done with my darkest shades, I'm going to go in between the area where it is the darkest and the area that is the lightest, and I'm going to add in the medium shade. So I'm lessening my pressure and adding it near that darkest shade and getting closer towards the center of my tube. So you can see that gradient coming from dark going to light. The center of your tube should be lighter in color. And that's pretty much it. And we do it all over again. For our next tube, I chose a green color, going in first with my lightest shade. Then my darkest shade, and again it's just the edges, I'm pressing down with high pressure. And then here I'm going between those two shades and adding that medium in between shade. And the lightest should be in the center of your tube where it's coming out and it's reflecting that lighter color. Now I'm going to use my black crayon to add a little bit more shadows in this. Between where the two tubes are meeting, we want to add a little bit of that black to create more shadows. You're not using high pressure, you're not using medium pressure, you're using a pressure that is between a medium and a light so that you can just add just a little bit of that shadow. Here you can also use a gray color if you like. I find that for the lighter colors you might want to use gray because you don't want it to be super dark, you want it to be a shadow. So here I'm going in with that gray color. And if you can notice, it's not that much color. I'm just adding a little bit for the shadow. And it's okay to actually go onto the darkest shade of your color. So we want to do this shadow areas for all of our tubes. Maybe you want to use black or that gray, depending on the color that you choose. Here I'm going in with more of that darkest shade of color just to give it a little bit more contrast. And then we do it all again for our next tube. Light shade, and then our darkest shade, and then our medium shade, and then our black for the shadows. And now you'll see all my tubes colored in that same process. And this is what our final product looks like. I think it looks pretty awesome. I hope you all enjoyed working on this project like I did. Submit your work, turn it in on your Google Classroom, and I will see you next week on our next project. Bye.